Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old is gold, but these rare Lincoln wheat penny coin that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1 today, we're diving deep into the world of one of the most sought after coins in American history, the 1949 Lincoln wheat penny. This penny might seem like just another part of your change, but let me tell you, this coin can be worth a lot more than you think. If you've ever wondered how a small, seemingly insignificant penny could fetch an incredible sum, stick around because by the end of this video, you'll be stunned by the value hidden in these tiny treasures. First, let's take a quick look at the 1949 Lincoln wheat penny's history. The Lincoln wheat penny was minted from 1909 to 1958 and holds a special place in the hearts of collectors. During its production, these pennies were used in everyday transactions across the United States. In fact, they became a staple of American currency, circulating for decades. But out of the thousands of coins produced during this time, there are some specific years that stand out, and 1949 is one of them. So why is the 1949 Lincoln wheat penny so highly regarded? To understand its worth, we need to take a look at a few key factors. While 1949 pennies were minted in large numbers, they weren't made with the same attention to preservation that modern coins are. Most of these pennies have passed through countless hands over the years, often getting damaged by wear, dirt, and time. This makes finding a 1949 penny in excellent condition incredibly rare. The rarity factor is one of the main reasons why collectors are willing to pay a premium for these coins. However, condition alone is not enough to determine the true value of a 1949 Lincoln wheat penny. You also need to consider the mint mark and any unique features that could make the coin even more valuable. The 1949 Lincoln wheat penny was minted at 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The mint mark, which is located on the reverse side of the coin, tells you where the coin was produced. Coins from different mints can vary in value based on their production numbers. For example, pennies minted in Philadelphia, which did not carry a mint mark, were produced in the highest quantities, making them the least rare and thus the least valuable. On the other hand, pennies minted in San Francisco or Denver might be rarer, depending on the year and specific circulation numbers, but even more important than the mint mark is the condition of the coin. Coins that have been kept in pristine, uncirculated condition are far more valuable than those that have been circulated extensively. Some collectors are specifically on the lookout for coins that have been well preserved, as these coins tend to fetch much higher prices in the market. And now, let's talk about the specific coin we're focusing on today, the 1949 Lincoln wheat penny. While most of these pennies are worth only a few cents or maybe $1 or $2 in average condition, there's a very special 1949 penny that has caught the attention of collectors worldwide. This particular coin is extremely rare, and when found in the right condition, it can be worth an astonishing amount of money. Collectors have been known to pay top dollar for 1949 Lincoln wheat pennies that are in nearly perfect, uncirculated condition. But there's one coin in particular that has really shaken the coin collecting world, and it's worth far more than you might expect. If you've come across a 1949 Lincoln wheat penny in impeccable condition, you could be sitting on a hidden gem worth more than $88000. Yes, you heard that right, a single 1949 Lincoln wheat penny, in perfect condition, could potentially fetch a staggering $88,000 at auction or from a private collector. That's more than some people make in an entire year, all from a coin that's no bigger than a nickel. Now, you might be wondering, how can a penny from 1949 be worth so much? The answer lies in a combination of factors, including rarity, condition, and demand. As coin collectors become more and more interested in the history and value of specific pennies, coins like the 1949 Lincoln wheat penny, especially those in mint condition, become increasingly desirable. If you happen to have a 1949 Lincoln wheat penny tucked away in your collection or even hiding in an old jar of loose change, it might be worth taking a closer look. Just because a coin looks worn doesn't mean it doesn't have value. You'll want to closely examine the coin for any signs of minting errors, unusual wear patterns, or even just a better than average condition that could make it stand out among the others. Some of the most valuable Lincoln wheat pennies come from special editions or minting errors that occurred during production. If you discover a 1949 penny with a unique characteristic, such as a misprint or a minting error, you could be holding a rare and valuable piece of American history. These types of coins are incredibly sought after by collectors, and they can fetch even higher prices than standard coins in good condition. As you can imagine, the world of coin collecting is filled with surprises, and the 1949 Lincoln wheat penny is no exception. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just starting out, it's always a good idea to keep an eye out for these hidden gems. Who knows? You might just stumble upon a coin worth thousands of dollars. In conclusion, the 1949 Lincoln Wheat penny is much more than just another coin from the past. It's a piece of American history, a symbol of a bygone era, and, for the lucky few who happen to find one in pristine condition, a valuable asset. The rarity, history, and condition of this coin combine to make it a collector's dream, and its value can be as high as $88,000 for the right specimen. So, the next time you're going through your old change or flipping through a coin collection, take a moment to examine any 1949 Lincoln Wheat pennies you might come across. You never know, you could be holding onto something worth far more than you ever imagined. Happy collecting, and remember to always keep an eye out for those rare and valuable coins. Top 2. We have something truly exciting to talk about, the 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny. This little coin, which many might overlook in their coin jars or collections, could be worth far more than you would expect. Stick around to the end, as we reveal just how much this penny could be worth today. You won't want to miss this. The Lincoln Wheat penny, first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, has been a symbol of American history for over a century. The design, featuring a portrait of Lincoln on the obverse side and wheat stalks on the reverse, holds deep historical significance. The 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny, in particular, was struck during a very interesting period in American history, the end of World War II. This coin is not just a piece of currency, it's a small artifact that captures a pivotal moment in time. In 1944, the United States was in the final stages of World War II, and the nation was undergoing significant changes. The economy was in the midst of a post-war transition, with more people going back to work and adjusting to life after the war. The penny itself, minted by the U.S. Mint, had a very interesting production story. During the war years, there was a shortage of copper, which led to some unusual alterations in the composition of coins. While most pennies were made of copper, during the war, some were made from a combination of steel and zinc to conserve copper for the war effort. These steel pennies, however, were not as well received and were eventually replaced with the familiar copper version in 1944. But what makes the 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny so special? To answer that question, we need to look at the minting process. The D in 1944 refers to the mint mark for the Denver Mint, which is where this particular penny was produced. While millions of these coins were struck that year, the 1944 penny has a unique characteristic that sets it apart from the rest. The coin's value is largely determined by its rarity and condition. Many 1944 Lincoln Wheat pennies were in circulation for many years, which means most of them have been subject to wear and tear. However, if you happen to come across one in exceptional condition, it could be worth far more than its face value. When it comes to the rarity of the 1944 penny, there are a few key factors to consider. First, the general supply of these pennies from that year is relatively high compared to other rare coins. However, the number of coins that have survived in mint state, or uncirculated condition, is much lower. It's these pristine examples that collectors are particularly interested in. A penny that has been kept in excellent condition without much wear on the design or surface can significantly increase its value, but the value doesn't just depend on how well the coin is preserved. There are other factors that can make a 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny even more valuable. One of the biggest game changers for coin collectors is the presence of a double die error. In some cases, a coin could have been struck twice, leading to a noticeable doubling effect on the design. These double die coins are highly sought after and can be worth significantly more than their counterparts without such an error. So, if you come across a 1944 penny that has a noticeable double strike, it could be a goldmine for your collection. If you think your 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny is a rare find, it's always a good idea to have it professionally graded. Coins are graded based on their condition, and the higher the grade, the more valuable the coin is. A coin in mint state condition can fetch much higher prices than one in poor or even average condition. Professional grading services like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, can provide an accurate assessment of your coin's value. So, how much is a 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny worth today? The answer depends entirely on its condition and whether it has any special features, like the famous double die error. In general, a 1944 penny in average condition might only be worth a few cents, but if you're lucky enough to have one in uncirculated or near mint condition, it could fetch a much higher price. And if you're holding a rare error coin, you could be in for an even bigger surprise. Now, for the big reveal. If you have a pristine 1944 D Lincoln Wheat penny, one that's been carefully preserved and maybe even carries a double die error, it could be worth a staggering $96,000. That's right, $96,000. That might sound unbelievable for such a small, humble coin, but it's a testament to how the rarity and condition of certain coins can make them incredibly valuable to collectors. If you happen to have one of these rare pennies, it could be sitting in your collection, just waiting to make you a small fortune. If you found this information helpful and you're now more interested than ever in diving deeper into the world of rare coins, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on future coin discoveries. We have plenty more rare and valuable coins to explore, and who knows, your next treasure could be just around the corner. Top 3. We've got a special treat for you. If you've ever wondered about the hidden gems of American numismatics, this video is for you. We're going to talk about a very rare coin that could be hiding in your collection right now, the 1950 D Lincoln Wheat penny. If you think all pennies are created equal, think again. This particular penny from 1950, with a mint mark from the Denver Mint, might be worth more than you ever imagined. Stick around until the end, because we're going to reveal exactly how much this coin could fetch in today's market. The Lincoln Wheat penny has been a staple in American currency since its introduction in 1909, featuring the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side and 2 ears of wheat on the reverse. But what makes the 1950 D penny so special, you might wonder? Well, let's dive into the story behind this coin and what makes it stand out in the world of numismatics. First off, let's take a step back in time to 1950. Post-World War II America was in full swing, with the country transitioning into a time of prosperity and economic growth. The nation was adjusting to life after the war, and the demand for currency was high. The U.S. Mint was working tirelessly to produce coins to meet the needs of the public, and millions of pennies were struck in 1950. Most of these coins circulated and became part of daily transactions, while others were stored away in people's homes, forgotten over time. Fast forward to today, and a certain portion of these pennies has turned into some truly valuable collector's items. The 1950 D Lincoln Wheat penny, in particular, has become a coin of great interest for collectors. The mint mark D indicates that this penny was struck at the Denver Mint. The year 1950 was a relatively normal year in terms of production, but the 1950 D penny stands out for its scarcity and high-quality condition. Many of the 1950 D pennies produced were heavily circulated and, over time, suffered wear and tear. However, the true value of this coin lies in the number of well-preserved examples that have survived the years. One of the key aspects that determine the value of a coin is its condition. Coins in pristine, uncirculated condition are far rarer than those that have been used in everyday transactions. The 1950 D penny is no exception. If you have a 1950 D penny that has been carefully preserved, you may be holding on to something very special. But there's more to it than just good condition. The most valuable 1950 D Lincoln Wheat pennies are those that exhibit a rare feature, an unusual minting error. In the case of the 1950 D penny, one of the most sought-after varieties is the D over D mint mark error. During the minting process, sometimes the dies used to strike the coins could shift or wear down, leading to errors in the mint mark. In the case of the 1950 D penny, some of the coins show a double D mint mark, indicating a slight mistake during the production process. These coins, known as the D over D varieties, are especially prized by collectors because of their rarity and uniqueness. Finding a 1950 D Lincoln Wheat penny in excellent condition, especially one with the D over D mint mark, is no easy task. These coins are extremely rare, and when they do surface, they attract the attention of serious collectors. If you're lucky enough to have one of these rare error coins, it's worth considering having it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. A high-quality grade can make all the difference when it comes to a coin's market value, but you might be wondering, how much could a 1950 D Lincoln Wheat penny really be worth? Well, let's get to the exciting part. The value of a 1950 D penny can vary widely depending on its condition and any potential minting errors. A penny in average circulated condition might only be worth a few cents above face value. However, if you happen to have one in mint state, free of scratches, dents, or discoloration, the value can start to climb. But if you have one of the rare D/D mint mark error coins, you could be looking at a much higher value. Coins like these, in excellent condition, can sell for a significant amount at auctions or from private buyers. And if your 1950D penny is both in pristine condition and carries the coveted D/D mint mark error, you're in for a serious surprise. Now, the big reveal, hold on to your seats. If you have a 1950D Lincoln Wheat penny in near mint or mint state, especially one with the D/D error, it could be worth an astounding $86,000. Yes, you heard that right, $86,000. It's incredible to think that a simple penny, one that most people wouldn't think twice about, could hold such a significant value. So, if you have any 1950D pennies lying around, take a moment to check them closely. You might just be sitting on a hidden treasure. Of course, not every 1950D penny will reach this astronomical value. But for those lucky enough to have one in exceptional condition or with a rare minting error, the payoff can be life-changing. This is the beauty of coin collecting. What may seem like a small, everyday object can sometimes turn out to be worth an unbelievable amount of money. If you enjoyed learning about the 1950D Lincoln Wheat penny and want to explore more rare and valuable coins, make sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. We have plenty more coin discoveries coming your way, and who knows? The next treasure we explore might just be sitting in your collection. Top 4. We have an exciting story to share about one of the most intriguing and valuable coins in American history, the 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny. While it might seem like just another penny, this particular coin holds a fascinating backstory and could be worth a lot more than you ever imagined. Stick around because, by the end of this video, we'll reveal just how much this humble penny could fetch in today's market, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. The Lincoln Wheat penny, first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, has long been a collector's favorite. The coin, featuring a portrait of Lincoln on the obverse side and 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse, became an iconic symbol of American currency. The coin was minted in various years, each with its own story to tell, and today, we're going to focus on one specific year, the 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny. To understand why the 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny is so valuable, we need to look back at the context of that year. The world was coming to the end of World War II, and the United States was undergoing massive changes. The war effort had influenced everything from the economy to the minting of coins. At that time, the U.S. Mint was struggling with shortages of metal, particularly copper. As a result, some pennies minted during and after the war were made of alternative materials, such as steel or zinc-coated steel. However, by 1945, copper was once again used for minting the pennies, making them stand out among the other wartime coins. Now, let's dive into the specifics of the 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny. The vast majority of these coins were minted in large quantities, as the U.S. Mint sought to meet the demand for currency post-war. However, the real value of the 1945 penny lies in its rarity, condition, and any potential minting errors that may have occurred during production. The 1945 penny was struck with the familiar D mint mark, indicating that it was produced at the Denver Mint. As you might expect, most of these pennies circulated heavily, meaning that very few of them remained in pristine, uncirculated condition. This is where the true value begins to emerge for collectors. Finding a 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny in near-perfect or uncirculated condition is like discovering a rare gem. Over time, coins that have been in circulation endure wear and tear, losing their sharp details and luster. However, a coin that has been carefully preserved and remains free of any significant damage or discoloration can be worth far more than its face value. And while it might seem like all pennies are the same, it's this difference in condition that makes the 1945 penny so intriguing to collectors. But here's the twist: not all 1945 Lincoln Wheat pennies are the same. Some of these pennies have unusual characteristics or flaws that make them stand out even more in the world of coin collecting. One of the most highly sought-after features in the 1945 penny is the presence of a minting error. Occasionally, during the minting process, the dies used to strike the coins can wear out, shift, or become misaligned, resulting in coins with double-struck designs or other imperfections. These error coins are prized by collectors because they're one-of-a-kind pieces, adding another layer of excitement and value to the 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny. Perhaps the most famous variety of the 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny is the 1945 double-die penny. In this case, the design on the coin, particularly the date and the inscriptions, shows clear doubling. This happens when the die that strikes the coin is improperly aligned, causing the design to be stamped more than once, leading to a visible duplication of the elements. Coins like these are incredibly rare, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for them because they are such unique pieces. If you happen to find a 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny with a double die error, you could be holding onto a coin that could be worth significantly more than a regular penny. So, how much can you expect to make if you have a 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny in excellent condition? The answer varies depending on the coin's state and whether it has any errors, but one thing's for sure, this coin can be worth a lot more than you might think. A regular 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny, even in good condition, might fetch only a few dollars. However, if you have one that is in mint state or has a double die error, the value can skyrocket. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the big reveal. If you're lucky enough to possess a 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny in pristine condition, or better yet, one with a rare minting error, it could be worth an eye-popping $93,000. Yes, you read that correctly, $93,000. That's right, something as small and unassuming as a penny could be sitting in your collection, potentially worth a small fortune. So, how can you tell if you have one of these rare coins? The first step is to carefully inspect the coin for any signs of wear, doubling, or misprints. If it looks like your penny has been well preserved and features a double die error, you might just have a valuable coin on your hands. To be sure, consider getting your coin professionally graded by a trusted numismatic service. This will not only give you a more accurate valuation but also help you understand the true rarity of your coin. As always, coin collecting is a thrilling journey. What might seem like an everyday object could, in fact, be a hidden treasure, waiting to be uncovered. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1945 Lincoln Wheat penny and want to learn more about rare and valuable coins, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell. We've got more exciting discoveries to share, and who knows, your next treasure could be right around the corner. Top 5. We're about to dive into one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in the history of U.S. currency, the 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny. This unassuming little coin, which many people overlook, could actually be worth a fortune. That's right, you heard me, this penny might just be sitting in your collection, or even in your pocket, waiting to make you thousands of dollars. Stick with us until the end of this video as we reveal exactly how much this rare Lincoln Wheat penny could be worth. To understand the value of the 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny, we first need to explore the history of this iconic coin. The Lincoln Wheat penny was first introduced back in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Its distinctive design, featuring a portrait of Lincoln on the obverse and two stalks of wheat on the reverse, became an enduring symbol of American currency. It was a coin that circulated widely for many decades, with billions of them being produced over the years. The year 1953, however, stands out as an interesting year for the Lincoln Wheat penny. While many of these pennies were produced in large numbers, it's the condition and rarity of the 1953 version that sets it apart from others. By the early 1950s, the U.S. Mint had already been minting pennies for over 40 years. The coin's design had remained the same since 1909, but it was still a vital part of the daily currency used by Americans across the country. At first glance, you might think that the 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny is just another common coin, especially considering how many were minted that year. In fact, more than 800 million pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint alone in 1953. But here's the catch: while most of these pennies were released into circulation and circulated widely for years, the number of 1953 pennies in uncirculated or mint condition is relatively low. This is where things get interesting for collectors. The value of a coin is not just about how many were minted but also about its condition. A coin that has been used in daily transactions for decades often shows signs of wear, such as scratches, discoloration, and other imperfections. However, if you can find a 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny that has been carefully preserved in excellent condition, it can be worth far more than you'd expect. But that's not all. There's more to the story of the 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny than just its condition. Some of these pennies, believe it or not, have rare minting errors that can drastically increase their value. Minting errors occur when there's a problem with the die or the minting process itself, leading to coins with unusual characteristics. These coins are particularly desirable to collectors because they are unique and hard to find. One of the most common errors for the 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny is known as the double die error. In this case, the coin's design is doubled, particularly in the date and inscriptions, because the die was struck more than once. The result is a noticeable duplication of the elements on the coin, which makes it stand out as an error piece. These double die coins are highly prized by collectors, and if you have one in your collection, it could be worth a significant amount of money. So, how much is a 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny worth? Well, the answer depends largely on its condition and whether it has any minting errors. In general, a 1953 penny in average condition might only be worth a few cents more than its face value. However, if you're lucky enough to have a 1953 penny in uncirculated or near mint condition, its value can increase significantly. The real value, though, comes when you discover a rare minting error on your coin, like the double die variety. These coins are considered among the most valuable in the world of coin collecting, and they can fetch astronomical prices at auctions or through private sales. If you have one of these error coins, it could be worth far more than just a few dollars. It could be worth thousands. And now, let's get to the exciting part, the big reveal. If you happen to have a 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny in pristine condition, or even better, one with a rare minting error, it could be worth an astonishing $82,000. Yes, you read that correctly, $82,000. That's right, a single penny, worth just 1 cent when it was originally minted, could be sitting in your collection, potentially worth a small fortune. Of course, not every 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny will fetch that kind of money, but if you're lucky enough to find one in near perfect condition, or with a rare minting error like the double die, you could be looking at a valuable coin that could change your financial future. So, if you've got any 1953 Lincoln Wheat pennies lying around, take the time to carefully inspect them. Look for any signs of minting errors, like doubling on the date or inscriptions. If your penny looks like it's been well preserved over the years, it might be worth getting it professionally graded by a trusted coin grading service. This will not only give you an accurate valuation but also help you understand how rare and valuable your coin might be. Coin collecting is an exciting journey, and sometimes the smallest coins can hold the biggest surprises. The 1953 Lincoln Wheat penny is a perfect example of how something as simple as a penny can turn into a hidden treasure if you know what to look for. If you enjoyed this video and want to discover more rare and valuable coins, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. We've got many more exciting coin discoveries coming your way, and who knows? The next treasure we talk about could be hiding in your collection. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting!